Tonight, a petrol station worker run down at the Bowser as Perth's fuel crisis escalates. This hour, fears of food shortages as the world faces what could be the worst oil crisis in our history. Trump's countdown to chaos, giving Iran 48 hours to open the Strait of Hormuz. Michelle Bullock snaps up a luxury holiday home one day before the Reserve Bank hiked rates. And recognition for Young Eagle as West Coast wind comes at a cost.
This is 9 News Perth with Michael Thomson.
Good evening. WA's fuel crisis has escalated today. A southern suburbs petrol station worker in hospital tonight, run down trying to stop a fuel drive-off. Comes as Perth responds to these desperate times. Tens of thousands of people making the switch to public transport.
Prices up, supply dwindling, drivers taking desperate measures. One taking off without paying at Vibe Armadale this afternoon. A station employee trying to stop the car run down. The driver taking off, leaving the man unconscious on the road.
I could just tell by the marks on his face. The car has struck him and he was dragged and then knocked over this far to this side of the road.
At other servos, there's nothing left to take. Hills Emporio and Carragullen running out of both diesel and unleaded.
Impact's big time for local customers that come through and just want to top up. It's definitely quieter on weekends for us. I think people are probably worried coming for a drive out in the hills if they can't afford fuel.
While Shell in Mosman Park was out of diesel before lunch. 9 News first spoke to Newdigate farmer Dean Sinclair almost 2 weeks ago. He's been promised a diesel delivery 4 times since. Tonight, he's still waiting.
A lot of information out of supply, but everything he seems to say gets changed, not because of him, because of the situation. He said, I'm 90% sure you'll get that 30,000 litres, but he said, I'm not 100% sure.
If people are continuing to buy larger amounts of fuel, replenishing those stocks will be more challenging, but we'll continue to monitor the situation.
Lisa Fawcett lives in Boyup Brook, making the 250-kilometre trip to Perth to visit Food Bank once a month, feeling the impact of rising diesel prices.
It's nearly $3 a litre for diesel, so it's a real struggle. It's making the decision whether you eat this week or you get home.
E10, the unloved, uncommon unleaded at the Bowser. The NRMA says if it's suitable for your car, you should use it.
10% of every litre of E10 you put in your car is ethanol that's produced here in Australia and not oil or petrol imported from overseas.
An oil spill at Kwinana's import terminal causing a slick at a beach near Wells Park. Closed for a 3rd day tomorrow. Pain at the pump causing pain at the hip pocket. To avoid another trip to the petrol Bowser, more Western Australians are swapping their steering wheel for a smart rider. The last week of February saw 2.9 million passengers use public transport. In a fortnight, that number skyrocketing. More than 100,000 extra riders as the Greens join calls for the state government to make public transport free. Holly Edward-Smith, 9 News.
Ezra Holt is live at Vive Armadale tonight. And Ezra, that driver accused of running down an attendant, hasn't been caught.
That's right, Michael. Police say he was driving a dark-coloured sedan and attempted to drive off here at Vibe petrol station on Forest Road in Armadale around 1 o'clock this afternoon. Now, a man in his 30s who works at the Vibe petrol station tried to stop him. He was struck and was dragged along the road for some metres, suffering facial injuries. Now, neighbours in the area rushed to help him. Tonight, he's in a stable condition at Royal Perth Hospital, being treated for those facial injuries. Tonight, police are hunting the driver of that black sedan. They're asking for anyone who has seen a vehicle that fits that description with damage to the windscreen and to the bonnet to contact Crime Stoppers. Michael?
Let's hope they get a breakthrough. Ezra, thank you. The Prime Minister is working on urgent deals with Singapore and other trade partners to shore up our fuel supplies. But as a new oil tanker arrives in Australia, concern is spreading from petrol to food shortages.
Foreign oil arriving to Australian soil. A long journey from the Middle East to Sydney ending today. We'll need more.
We're having a series of meetings as well with our international partners, making sure that we can secure supply.
Australia and Singapore agreeing to accelerate the flow of gas and oil between the two countries, with extra shipments from Canada and the United States promised. Still tonight, the government and business groups are promoting working from home or public transport as a way of easing petrol pressures.
Now, Chris Bowen is saying it's okay, everyone can work from home. It just simply doesn't work that way.
This is a time where we really do need to adopt a Team Australia moment.
We've got many stations with no petrol, zero. That's what we've got, big zero.
In Canberra, the president of the International Energy Agency warned the current crisis is twice that of the 1970s, but this time Australia has solar on its side.
10 years ago, solar was a romantic story, but now it is a business.
Which means we are less exposed to gas prices, and that is in no small part due to home batteries, Mr Speaker.
Fresh food may be the next frontier.
When you go to the supermarket shelves, you're either going to notice that your favourite products may not be there. There might be temporary stock outages.
Coles and Woolworths say there's been no disruption to availability. Some prices have changed. The National Food Council meeting in Canberra today.
And we know that our food system does not operate in isolation and it's not immune to those external challenges that we're seeing.
Anything that needs cold chain transport, typically you're thinking of fresh produce, then you're thinking of meat, seafood, and then you've got to go to your dairies.
The states are having their own conversation about food and fuel, but so far there is no appetite to force people to work from home.
We've seen work from home mandates during the course of COVID, and it didn't end well for a lot of people.
We do know and we do understand that Australians are feeling the pressure around the kitchen table and especially at the petrol bowser.
As fuel costs go up, high-end European cars and luxury goods are set for a price drop, with Australia nearing a landmark trade deal with the EU. Here's political editor Charles Croucher again.
There is, at last, some good news on the foreign front. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has touched down in Australia tonight and is set to sign a long-awaited free trade agreement with Australia tomorrow. It promises to bring down the price of some European goods, including cars, and will serve up an extra 500 million potential customers for our producers in the long run. Short-term, the government will look for more energy deals, potentially leveraging our gas for fuel as the war drags into a fourth week.
The US and Iran are trading ominous threats after Donald Trump warned he would take out the regime's power plants if it doesn't reopen the Strait of Hormuz by tomorrow morning WA time. Iran's military declaring it's ready to completely close the critical shipping lane. Lauren Tomazi from Washington.
A motorcade to the Golfing Green as the clock ticks down on Donald Trump's deadline.
Sometimes you have to escalate to de-escalate.
Tehran hasn't taken kindly to the US president's ultimatum, the regime threatening to intensify strikes and indefinitely close the crucial waterway if America makes good on its promise to obliterate Iranian power plants.
They're stopping a maritime international route, energy route, and trying to blackmail the entire world.
The president is not messing around. He stands, unlike his predecessors, he stands by his red lines.
Iran's foreign minister hitting back. No Iranian will be swayed by more threats. Try respect. With Iran's chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz, America's search for a solution is growing increasingly desperate.
We are facing a decision point for the president because Israel would follow the president the decision.
Israel and the United States are working together for the entire world. And it's time to see the leaders of the rest of the countries join up.
22 countries, including Australia, will, said the NATO chief today. Mark Rutte talking down the US president's previous comments, which labelled the nations cowards.
And I understand the president's frustration that it takes some time. But again, I also ask for some understanding.
The conflict is now entering its 24th day and the toll is growing. At least 2,000 people have been killed, most in Iran, and more than 1 million have been displaced, many of those in Lebanon. And there, Israeli forces have expanded strikes in the country's south, targeting bridges. Action, the IDF says, is against the Iran-backed Hezbollah group. The Lebanese president says it's a potential precursor to a ground invasion. In Washington, D.C., Lauren Tomazi, 9 News.
They are pictures that shock a man ramming his head into an ambulance windscreen on the goldfields. Tonight you're going to hear from the trainee paramedic who was inside that vehicle, an incident one of hundreds sparking a new plea to protect our first responders.
What the actual hell? A man head first into the windscreen of an ambulance. What? Where are the policemen? Naked and unrelenting on the goldfields last December. Oh my God, he's in there. 2 crew members under siege. It took police 22 minutes to respond to their call for help.
I have 3 young children at home and I feared for my life.
Rebecca Thomson, a trainee paramedic, inside as the blows kept coming.
I've been left quite traumatised from it, so recalling inside the ambulance I find quite difficult.
Months later, she's still dealing with the ordeal.
I have always said I'm in a way glad it was me and not some of the other people there, because I think it probably would have been career ending for a lot of people.
Rebecca Thomson not alone in her experience.
Patient in the middle of me caring for him stood up, tried to punch me and then chased me down the street.
It's only through sheer luck and good fortune that one of us haven't been seriously hurt or worse.
Last year, 442 incidents of violence and aggression were reported against St John WA staff, up nearly 12%.
We're sitting around about 105 incidents this year alone. People are being spat at, being bitten, being chased down the street.
More than half involving drugs or alcohol.
It's one of the first things we think when we approach a house. We're looking at how we're going to escape.
Body-worn cameras and stab-proof vests were trialled with crews but found to be too restrictive on the job. Teams undergoing training on how to de-escalate situations and identify risks.
We shouldn't have to wear armour. We shouldn't have to run and hide. We should be able to treat your families without any issue.
A new campaign will try and get the message across.
The fact that people would take the opportunity to take out their aggression on a paramedic is disgusting behaviour.
Those who help us now asking for help.
The violence, the aggression, the abuse, it needs to stop, and it needs to stop now.
Amber Wilkinson, 9 News.
A northern suburbs orthodontist has had his choking charge dropped after writing a letter of apology to his 11-year-old victim and the boy's family. 46-year-old Stephen Nahm was due to stand trial today, accused of strangling a player from the opposing team in a junior soccer match in Mindarie last year. Court today hearing police prosecutors had discontinued the charge after the father apologised over the incident. 2 people have been killed after an Air Canada plane collided with a ground vehicle upon landing in New York. The nose of the aircraft ripped open on impact.
Close to midnight and horror on a wet runway at New York's LaGuardia Airport. An Air Canada jet, its cockpit ripped off after a collision moments after it landed. It's believed the aircraft and a Port Authority vehicle came together.
Jet 646, I see you collide with a vehicle there. Just hold position. I know you can't move. The vehicle's there responding to you now.
Video posted to social media shows passengers around the aircraft. A witness explains what happened as people tried to evacuate.
It was on the ground on the nose. As you're deplaning, it just lifted in the air.
The plane, with at least 80 on board, had just arrived from Montreal.
The aircraft would have been cleared to land. It doesn't appear to be bad weather, and it'll go down to human factors.
The US Federal Aviation Administration has issued a ground stop for all planes at the airport. Damien Ryan, 9 News.
ABC staff are set to walk off the job for the first time in 2 decades. 60% of employees voted against the offer of a 10% pay rise over 3 years, plus a $1,000 signing bonus. The 24-hour strike will begin at 8 a.m. on Wednesday and could disrupt live radio and television programs. WA's key political parties are warned at this hour complacency will be at their own peril. Commentators weighing in after South Australia's state election saw droves of voters cast a ballot for One Nation.
South Australia's sea of orange. A
a sign the tide is turning.
There's no room for complacency at all in West Australian politics following the result in Adelaide.
Labor to serve a second term in our neighbouring state after Saturday's win. The Liberal vote down as Pauline Hanson's One Nation gains support. Commentators say the political shift away from the two major parties will have a ripple effect here in WA.
And they feel that government of the day hasn't got the answer and they're looking to protest. And that's what they did on Saturday in South Australia, and governments around the country ignore that at their peril.
Two states with parallel problems, housing and hospital woes and the cost of living front of mind for voters.
The government here are building racetracks and doing things that aren't a priority for West Australians right now, while people can't even afford their mortgage or their rent.
But the Premier today defending Labor's stronghold in the West, instead arguing the problem lies with the opposition, claiming the Liberals have lost touch with what voters want. Opposition leader Basil Zemplis unavailable for comment today.
WA Labor has continued to enjoy the support of almost every demographic, and that's because we focus on the things that matter: jobs, health and housing.
Jenny Chon, 9 News.
Reserve Bank Governor Michelle Bullock has revealed she's added to her property portfolio the RBA boss and her husband, purchasing their third investment home one day before interest rates were hiked.
The house in Yamba, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms with a wine room, was bought on February 3 for $2.05 million. And on February 4, Australia's cash rate was lifted. Settlement happened 6 weeks later, Michelle Bullock receiving the keys on March 17. And on March 18, the cash rate was lifted again. So while the RBA Governor was in the boardroom discussing both of this year's cash rate rises, her own property portfolio was growing, presumably with at least a bit more mortgage debt. The purchase was disclosed to the public records last week and does not break any rules. But amid a housing and cost of living crisis, many Australians are learning that the Governor and her husband now have 3 investment properties: Yamba, Chiswick and Drummoyne, along with a primary residence also in Sydney, and that the Governor earned $1.26 million last financial year.
Perth is in for an end-of-week drenching with ex-tropical cyclone Nurell heading our way. Natalia Cooper, there's a chance it could reform across the WA coastline.
Yes, Tomo, there is potential for a coastal crossing between Carnarvon and as far south as Perth over the weekend. Ex-tropical cyclone Nurell has already brought wild weather to the Northern Territory. Parts of that region have seen more than 200 millimetres of rain in 24 hours. The tropical low is now moving over the Kimberley. Columbaroo has had more than 110 millimetres since 9 a.m. and wind gusts to 90 kilometres an hour are possible. The system will then head out over the water and is set to redevelop into a cyclone in the early hours of Wednesday. Nurell will move parallel to the coast and could become a severe Category 4 off the Pilbara by Thursday. After that, the cyclone is going to curve to the south. But from then on, a lot of questions remain. The picture will become clearer in the coming days. At this stage, Perth could see more than 80 millimetres between Friday and Monday. It's a good time to start preparing your property by cleaning out gutters and tying down trampolines, Tomo.
Good advice, Natalia. Thank you. He's a Perth icon loved by many across our state, but it's not luck that has gotten Tony Galati to where he is today. Tonight in my exclusive interview with the Spud King, he sacrifices so many different things, and it started from when he was just a child. We're peeling back the layers. That's later this hour. Fined and banned from the footy after throwing a bottle onto the MCG. A hard line on an unruly fan. That is next. See you in court. Kyle's $100 million contract battle takes a turn. Walking his dogs, ex-Prince Andrew spotted for the first time since his arrest. And still to come, the weather extremes hitting our suburbs and your home insurance premium. A man who threw a bottle at Hawthorn's Nick Watson has been fined $407 and banned from attending AFL games for 5 years. Police interviewed the 43-year-old Melbourne man yesterday and issued an infringement notice. His Swans membership has also been cancelled. New twist tonight in the Kyle and Jackie O saga with Kyle's Sandilands, alleging ARN encouraged the aggressive tone that led to his contract being terminated. Madison Scott explains.
Carl Sandilands is claiming his termination is invalid because there was no act of misconduct or breach of his contract, essentially arguing that the fateful on-air feud between him and Jackie O last month was all above board. He filed the lawsuit against the KISS licence holder in the federal court on Friday. Nine newspaper, the Australian Financial Review, has obtained those court papers, reporting Sandilands is arguing ARN expressly desired the character he played for more than 2 decades and enshrined it in his contract. The filing reading the radio show's material was deliberately provocative, saying Mr Sandilands generally performed the role of the dominant and abrasive personality who was deliberately outrageous and often offensive, while Miss Henderson played a moderating role as a warmer and more emotionally attuned character. ARN has said today it disputes the claims and intends to defend the proceedings. Kyle was only 14 months into his $100 million 10-year contract and will be basically demanding a payout. ARN says it's unable to estimate the outcome or financial impact.
Explosions have rung out in London after 4 ambulances were set on fire. Police have labelled the attack against a Jewish volunteer service as an anti-Semitic hate crime.
Walking calmly into the sight of CCTV, 3 hooded figures. And it doesn't take long for their intentions to become clear as flames start to leap from behind an ambulance.
4 ambulances vlak.
Nearby residents filming the flames as they take hold and spread. Explosions ringing out. The apparent target, a Jewish volunteer rescue organisation. Hatzola Northwest confirming 4 of its ambulances were set alight, saying there are concerns that this is a direct attack on the Jewish community. The incident occurring in the neighbourhood of Golders Green, located in London's north, the area known for its large Jewish community. The Metropolitan Police now hunting the 3 suspects and treating the incident as an anti-Semitic hate crime, adding, "We will be engaging with faith leaders and carrying out additional patrols." Shelley Doyle, 9 News.
Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor has been seen publicly for the first time since his arrest. The former Prince was photographed walking his dogs near his new home, Marsh Farm, on the King's Sandringham estate. The 66-year-old taken into custody on his birthday last month on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Donald Trump has ordered ICE agents to airports as a fight over Homeland Security funding continues. The stoush leading to long queues and understaffing at airports across the US, with hundreds of thousands of staff working without pay. The President says immigration officers will help as long as it takes. He's a Perth icon, our own Spud King. We're peeling back the layers of Tony Galati this hour. An interview, a new insight. That's next. How wild weather year-round is taking a toll on your insurance premium. Landslide shock. Dashcam captures the moment a car is struck in Turkey. And live from London, it's Saturday night. A comedy favourite debuts across the pond. We know him as the Spud King, a man who built a kingdom on fruit and veg, a market gardener from a hard-working family turned iconic West Australian. I spent a morning with Tony Galati to find out if the image fits the man. What I discovered was there's much more than meets the eye. They call him the Spud King, but this king comes from a humble Spearwood market garden. It must have been tough, though.
It was tough, yeah, I remember. All those school holidays weeding onions because my old man didn't have the experience and we didn't know much about chemicals, so a lot of it was done by hand.
Tony Galati looks back fondly on his childhood but admits it wasn't easy.
It was a good family life. You know, we all pitched in, we all did our little bit, and that's all we knew, you know. I didn't play any sports. All my man wanted me to help and work on the market gardens after school, before school, weekends, and that's all we knew. That's how we were brought up, and that's probably what gave us our work ethics.
He was good at maths, so good he got an early taste of business as a teenager, doing the family books.
I'm stressing, I'm probably a 13, 14-year-old kid. I was doing my bank statements, working out what money I had left, who I could pay, and it must, well, like I said, it must have been really stressful at that age.
Wow. Now, could your folks speak English?
not good.
So you're almost like...
I was their interpreter.
Yeah. Wow, it's a lot of responsibility. Has that helped you as a businessman?
Definitely. I think it makes you grow up really quick and takes responsibility.
And take responsibility he has, turning a market garden business into an empire. To this day, he still works the gardens, drives the forklift and goes to the markets every morning at 3 o'clock.
How many kilos is that?
After spending a day with Tony Gallardi, you understand what you see is what you get. A completely authentic West Australian. The singlet, the shorts, the eyebrows, it's all him. As for growing fruit and veg...
Yeah, we plant probably about in excess of nearly 400,000 plants a week.
A week? 400,000 plants a week? Wow. He's emotional when discussing the love and respect he has for his parents and the sense of contentment that his extended family are all part of the growing kingdom.
Because it's not just me, it's my team. I've built like an army over the last 30 years and I've got a lot of good people alongside me and they support me. And they want to go in the journey. They say, Tony, we're with you. And that's what probably gives me the courage and the foresight to keep going.
He now has 17 Spud Shed stores, his own brand of milk, potato chips, clothes, a line of boots in the works. He just keeps expanding. Apart from the market gardens, there's also farms. But he worries about the future. Getting the labour to work the land is getting tougher.
I think there's got to be a massive food shortage worldwide, not just Australia, because people don't want to work on the farms anymore. And even with new technology, new varieties, it still makes it hard, especially in Australia, because our labour costs are so high here.
But for now, Tony Gallardi will keep up his hectic work schedule. It's the only way he knows how. From flash flooding to destructive hailstorms and devastating bushfires, Australians are becoming used to wild weather all year round. And it's taking its toll. NRMA Insurance says the weather accounts for more than half of all home claims.
In a country of extremes, you can never be too prepared. In the past 5 years, NRMA Insurance received almost 300,000 wild weather claims. That's 1 every 9 minutes, with storms and hail causing the most damage. Inside the insurer's command centre in Sydney, satellite mapping technology allows NRMA to calculate risk and work out which homeowners need the greatest response. This map shows Bundaberg before and after the recent floods.
The darker the blue, the more deeper the inundation. And we actually get all of the data behind the scenes to identify how many millimetres of water is sitting actually above the ground at that particular point in time.
The technology used to pinpoint damage during the recent Victoria bushfires.
That helps us understand what number of builders, what number of assessors, what equipment we need to mobilise quickly.
And tracking cyclone Nurell in far north Queensland. NRMA says the tool, which has replaced drones, is not used to set premiums.
They operate in all weather. They can see through fog and rain and clouds.
Along with the increase in wild weather, home insurance costs are soaring. Average premiums up 51% in the past 5 years.
Over that same period of time, the cost of building supplies has gone up more than 40%. The cost of reinsurance has gone up more than 20 to 30%. Unfortunately, insurance premiums are not immune to inflation.
The Insurance Council taking aim at government taxes, which form part of your premium.
We need to have tax reform. People who do the right thing and take out insurance should not be paying stamp duty year on year, as well as emergency service levies.
Despite last summer being the wettest in almost a decade, it was the quietest when it came to wild weather claims in 10 years.
It comes down to the location of the severe weather event, so the major capital cities avoided the worst impacts.
And we're in for an autumn of extremes.
We do expect wetter than normal conditions across the northern parts, whereas in the southern parts, warmer and drier conditions will lead to elevated bushfire conditions.
Sophie Walsh, 9 News.
There's dash cam of the moment a car was struck by a landslide in Turkey, the vehicle travelling along a coastal road in the country's south, when rocks suddenly broke off from the cliff face. The driver treated for minor injuries. Fixture of late-night comedy in the US, Saturday Night Live has debuted in the UK, taking on the royal family and the Beckhams. The British spin-off even grabbing Donald Trump's attention.
Live from London!
Saturday Night Live at its British best.
So, why do a UK version of SNL? Well, like so many large-scale American operations these days, no one really knows why.
Its first ever host, an American.
If this is SNL UK, then why are you the first host?
How do I put this politely? None of you would do it?
Sir Keir Starmer's dealings with Donald Trump open slather.
Oh, golly. Well, what if Donald shouts at me? What do I say, Lammy? Hello? I know how badly you want to start World War III, and that's great. You should absolutely do that. But we can't be a part of it.
The US president sharing the sketch on his Truth Social page. On the Iran war...
How many? 2, but 1's dead now.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor mocked too.
So, if you're watching, Andrew, hello! You're not going to like this next bit.
The former prince, the butt of jokes too rude to broadcast on 9 News. There was an impersonation of Princess Diana.
Diana, Princess of Wales.
And Britain's most famous natural historian.
Hello, I'm David Attenborough, and it can't be long now.
Ladies and gentlemen, SNL UK has arrived. In London, Hannah Sinclair, 9 News.
On their bikes, dozens of cyclists take on a gruelling journey to raise awareness about an important cause. And a slight drop in the price of unleaded tomorrow. Diesel is going up, Perth's cheapest fuel. That's still to come. But first, Paddy Sweeney's here with Sport. And Paddy, firstly, you got the Eagles right. You were confident. You said they were going to win. Well done. And also, there's been some recognition for a young Eagle.
Due recognition as well, Tomo. One of their highly talented teenagers is making a mark on the competition as a key defender takes time away to deal with another head knock. Bobby's back at training, but when will the Magpie fly again? And Jai jostles for a spot in Australia's packed cricket feast. Eagles defender Harry Edwards will spend an extended period out of the game following his latest concussion. The 25-year-old was injured in the win over the Kangaroos, his first game back from a pre-season head knock.
Another hit to the Eagles' key stocks.
So it's Flynn that comes across, just collects him there.
Harry Edwards concussed twice in 3 weeks, adding to his growing history of head knocks.
I'm imagining he'll spend a little bit of time away from the game now, trying to get himself healthy and right again, and we'll do everything we can to support him.
Liam Baker undergoing scans on an ankle injury.
I just looked at him and said, "You right?" And he said, "Yeah, I think I've avoided something serious, but I'm no doctor, so we'll wait and see."
Concern too for veteran Jamie Cripps, hurting his shoulder late in the win over the Roos. Job Shanahan, the round 2 Rising Star nominee after 2 goals, 8 marks and 14 touches in his 11th AFL appearance. Draftees Cooper Duff-Tytler and Willem Dersma also contributing 2 majors.
I thought I saw Gack out running across our forward 50 there at one stage with Cooper. He was incredible, the speed that he had.
Charlie Comben with nothing to answer for this bump on Harley Reid. The match review officer saying Reid initiated contact, lowered his body and Comben's actions didn't constitute a strike.
He's going to get used to it. That's what AFL football's about. It's a big boys' game.
Attention turning to Port Adelaide, who will be without skipper Connor Rosie, set to undergo surgery after rupturing his hamstring tendon.
It sort of just went numb, like my leg, I couldn't walk on it. Sort of as that wore off, it got a lot sorer and a bit more isolated.
Miles Bergman won't play, injuring his ankle against the Bombers. Erin Harwood, 9 News.
Collingwood has received a major boost with Norm Smith medalist Bobby Hill returning to the training track for the first time since December. But any hope of a return to playing is seemingly on hold until later this year. A not-so-regular Monday training session at Collingwood. The Magpies bolstered by the presence of Wayward star Bobby Hill.
He's done the work and we're just all thrilled that he's happy, he's got a smile on his face, he's enjoying and has energy for training.
Absent from the club since December due to personal reasons, the 26-year-old fronting teammates last week before making his long-awaited return to the track today.
He's still got a long way to go. He's done a bit of training, but he's really just at the start line.
Cat Tyson Stengel's comeback from his own personal issues is gaining momentum, impressing during match sim last week.
He trained really well and played really well, actually, in that. So it's exciting for him, and I'm looking forward to having him back in the side whenever that is.
Jeremy Cameron keen to hand the forward line keys to Shannon Neal, fresh off a 5-goal haul.
We want him to own that forward line like it's his. So hopefully I can, start getting out of his way, and he can push me out of the way, and he can start clunking them as we saw against Fremantle.
Geelong out to make it 15 straight wins over the Crows at Cardinia Park on Thursday night.
I'm pumped, and you probably get a little bit of extra motivation when the team typically hasn't done well down there.
And Bulldogs midfielder Tom Liberatore is the latest big name to be sidelined by a hamstring injury, suffered late in the win over Adelaide. West Australian paceman Jai Richardson is confident he'll play a significant role in the baggy green this summer. The 29-year-old is looking to add depth to Australia's ageing bowling lineup when they take on New Zealand as part of a punishing schedule.
Jai Richardson serving up the goods today, and he's giving the Aussie selectors food for thought ahead of the next summer of cricket.
I think the season looks pretty good from a resilience point of view, and then hopefully that holds me in good stead to be available for all the test matches coming up.
December's West Test beginning on a Wednesday, the first of 4 red ball matches against the Black Caps, packed into 31 days. Australia with 5 opponents in 7 months, including the one-off 150th anniversary test against England in March. Richardson confident he can share the fast bowling load, with injuries reducing skipper Pat Cummins and Josh Hazlewood to 1 test between them in the recent Ashes campaign.
Injuries do happen, and I'm sure there'll be some sort of rotation.
Mitchell Starc, on the other hand, not missing a beat.
No doubt he'll want to put up his hand for most of those if he can.
Richardson already with New Zealand run machine Kane Williamson in his sights.
Still an amazing player, so yeah, if I do get an opportunity, I'll be aiming for that one for sure.
Brisbane missing out on red ball action. The women's team denied a test. New Zealand cricket preferring a white ball tour. Sean Lindsay, 9 News.
The first Socceroos have arrived in Sydney ahead of the team's final matches in Australia before the upcoming World Cup. Experienced midfielder Jackson Irvine was intentionally left in Europe as he continues to build back from a foot injury.
I'm sure Jacko will make it. I know Jacko, and we played together for many years, and I know the mindset he's got. So I'm planning, or I'm wishing for him to be at the World Cup.
Players who arrived early got the first taste of the new kit the team will wear during the World Cup. And Manchester City has won the English League Cup title with a 2-0 win in the final against Arsenal. Nico O'Reilly found the back of the net twice in 4 minutes to seal the victory.
And O'Reilly's there again! Sheer delight for Manchester City!
Meanwhile, Tottenham's bid to avoid relegation from the Premier League took another blow this morning. Spurs beaten 3-0 by fellow battlers Nottingham Forest and now dropped to 17th on the table, just 1 place above the drop zone. Not looking good there for Spurs, Tomo, but in better news, tomorrow we hear from Rising Star nominee Jobe Watson. Crikey,
what a comeback.
That'll be impressive.
What a story.
Jobe Shanahan, I should say, and Dockers star Shea Bolton.
Looking forward to it, Paddy. Thank you. Great story. Unleaded down, diesel up, where you can find Perth's cheapest fuel next. And a beauty off Bondi, a whale of a time for all. That is next. Then Natalia with the latest on ex-tropical cyclone Nurell. Natalia, she's arrived in WA.
Yes, Tomo, the tropical low is now moving over the Kimberley. Perth could see a whole lot of rain from the system this weekend. I'll have all the details soon.
Welcome back. Here are the headlines. A petrol station worker in Armadale is in hospital, run down trying to stop a fuel drive-off this afternoon. Trainee paramedic who was inside an ambulance being attacked by a naked man in Kalgoorlie has issued a plea to protect first responders. Violent incidents up nearly 12% last year. A northern suburbs orthodontist accused of strangling an 11-year-old boy in a junior soccer match has had his choking charge dropped after writing a letter of apology. Another chaotic session on global markets as Donald Trump's ultimatum causes anxiety for investors. Here's finance editor Chris Kohler.
3 weeks ago, the ASX was sitting at an all-time high, but what a difference a war can make, especially one that threatens oil supply. Today, the ASX gave up another 62 points, now down more than 9% from that record high. And a 10% fall would make it a technical correction, so investors will be keeping an eye out for that this week. The good news is resilience was clearly visible today. The opening fall halved throughout the day as investors bought back into blue chip stocks. The price of gold is also in focus. Last week will go down as the worst for gold since 1983. That price had rocketed in the last year and early this year, but now it's losing its footing as bond yields rise. Finally, the Australian dollar is sitting below 70 US cents, is also buying 60 euro cents and 52 British pence.
Let's take a look at the price of unleaded petrol across Perth tomorrow. The average will decrease by almost a cent to $2.45.2. But you can find it cheaper on South Western Highway in Byford, on Rosedale Road in Chidlow and on Honeybee Parade in Banksia Grove. Diesel will increase by 2 cents to $2.97.1. More than 100 cyclists will ride from Albany to City Beach tomorrow, raising money and awareness for youth mental health. The group to stop at more than a dozen schools on the 700-kilometre trip to speak with students.
They get up and share their stories, and it starts really important conversations with young people.
It's the 24th annual Hawaiian Ride for Youth that's raised millions of dollars for the youth-focused charity, placing hundreds of counsellors in WA schools. And another Perth charity is making a world of difference to new parents and their babies facing hardship. Little Things for Tiny Tots, recognised for helping thousands of WA families, crowned a winner in our special series, Best of the West.
Every basket packed with care.
We've got some baby wipes to put in our baby boxes.
Little Things for Tiny Tots started 10 years ago, a charity created by 3 Perth mums, giving second-hand essential baby items a new life for those doing it tough.
Homelessness, domestic violence, financial insecurity, a whole range of issues.
Last year they helped more than 7,600 families. This year that number could hit a record high.
The cost of living increasing, the cost of petrol increasing, especially in some of those remote and regional areas where, you know, there is only one shop and formula and nappies and wipes are just inaccessible.
These bundles reach more than just Perth families. Throughout the year, Little Things deliver hundreds of care packages to those in need from the Kimberley down to the southwest. And they were able to reach even more this month, awarded $5,000 thanks to Tyre Power, making what can be an incredibly isolating time that little bit easier.
We put a handwritten card in each of our baby boxes, so sometimes it's the only card that a new mum might receive, and it's from a stranger that they haven't met, but it's really meaningful to them.
The non-for-profit relies on volunteers and contributions from the public, with more than 50 donation points across Perth. Rachel Clifford, 9 News.
A whale has been spotted off Bondi this morning. Humpback whales normally start migrating north for their breeding season in May, making this one unexpectedly early. More than 40,000 whales are expected to take the humpback highway between May and November this year. Wet end to the week is ahead. Natalia with all the details next.
Welcome back. It was cloudier and quite a bit cooler than expected today. Our top was 25 degrees, the overnight low 19, and right now it is 22.9. Ex-tropical cyclone Nurell is now moving over the Kimberley. Columbaroo has had more than 115 millimetres of rain since 9 a.m, and wind gusts to 90 kilometres an hour are possible. The system will then head out over the water and is set to redevelop into a cyclone on Wednesday. Nurell will move parallel to the coast and could become a Category 4 off the Pilbara by Thursday. After that, the cyclone is going to curve to the south, and there could be a coastal crossing between Carnarvon and as far south as Perth over the weekend. Let's take a look around the country now. And a shower or two in 29 in Brisbane, a couple of showers in Sydney, and a shower or two developing and 29 in Melbourne. Back in our north, a severe weather warning is in place for parts of the Kimberley due to ex-tropical cyclone Nurell. Places like Columbaroo and Broome could see heavy Gravity Falls. Further south, becoming windy in Geraldton, mostly sunny and 29 degrees in Bunbury, and Albany will be cloudy and 20. On the waters, southeasterly winds 15 to 25 knots, seas to 2 metres and swell to 1.5. Around our suburbs tomorrow, it will be sunnier and warmer. Joondalup 29, Kalamunda 30 and Mandurah 29 degrees. So for Perth, a sunny Tuesday ahead, 30 the top after a low of 15 tonight. Looking ahead, blue skies and 31 on Wednesday. Thursday should be mostly sunny and 31, but there is the chance of an afternoon or evening shower or storm. Then we will start seeing the impacts of Nurell, up to 20 millimetres of rain to fall on Friday, between 6 and 30 millimetres for Saturday and becoming windy. Sunday will be windy with up to 25 millimetres of rain to fall, and showers are also expected on Monday. And of course, everything depends on the movement of the developing cyclone, and we'll of course be tracking the system throughout the week, Tomo.
Natalia, thank you. That is 9 News for this Monday, March 23. Thanks for joining us. The Current Affair is next. Enjoy your evening. Good night.